still have their stories, and I was holding their belt, and they wanted me to do something else, even though I really wanted to tell this story about why the Bullet Club wasn't working and why there was just a meeting of the minds, and why my idea of what it was supposed to be, and why the idea of, you know, Fale, Tamatanga, and T, and why the older generation, why they thought of it as something else. And I wanted to explore that because it was really like their sort of idea, and the reason why Bullet Club became a faction to begin with was a very different thing than what it had become under my reign as leader as Bullet Club. And I wanted to sort of show the difference in that, and sort of show that I wanted to give people a choice. Like, what's cooler to you? Is it what I thought it was, or was it what you thought it was? Like, as you, as in, like, you know, the originals, like Carl Anderson, Prince Devitt, Tamatanga, Fale. And I really thought it could have been, like, fun for the viewer to kind of follow along and then make your choice through that. Not necessarily hating anybody, but just being able to explore sort of why the variations and the sort of eras of the Bullet Clubs are different, and why it had to become a split. Because I feel like now too, especially, I don't watch as much as I should, like New Japan's product and stuff, but it's like factions just kind of become just sort of like, they're just an afterthought. It's like, yeah, okay, when are we going to see the Chaos match? When are we going to see the Bullet Club match? It's like, yeah, of course you're going to see them every show, but I always think there needs to be a reason why they exist, and what's your motivations for existing. So anyway, long story short, it was unfortunate that we couldn't tie it all together between BTE, Ring of Honor, and New Japan when we pulled the trigger on splitting from Bullet Club, because I thought it could have been a real cool story. And I think people wanted to see it come to a head. And people are still kind of waiting, like, hey, when are the Young Bucks gonna face, like, Tamatanga and T? Like, when is there any issue between Gallows and Anderson and everyone? And there are people that still wonder about this story, and I still really think it would be cool to tell that part of the story too. But again, we just never had the opportunity. So yeah, that's where, like, you sometimes you take the ball and you just kind of maybe force a play, and sometimes when you force and I always did this in New Japan a lot, like, there's no real, people think that it's all, you know, just booked to a T. Yeah. But you really got to force your own play and force your hand. And on so many occasions, I would force a hand and it would work out, and then we would roll with it. But this is a case where we collectively forced a hand, but we weren't given the platform to kind of tell that story. So that's the moment where I was like, oh man, did we fail to tell something really cool? Because I think that could have been a real cool story. But I mean, because we never went there, it's still always there. And there's almost history now with everybody's going the directions they have. Exactly. Now we have Bullet Club guys that are in WWE, we have Bullet Club guys in Impact, we have Bullet Club guys that are in AEW, we have Bullet Club guys in New Japan still. And they can be like, hey, I'm here because of you guys. I was elevated because of you. I got exiled because of this. We thought this is a better option because you left. And so even though it failed in the moment, or we couldn't have the blow off that we wanted at that time, there's almost even more potential now because our forces are spread out amongst all the major promotions in all of the world. So it's actually almost more interesting now, in a way. And anytime those collides, it'd be